And this is part 2 of homework lesson 3 in module 5. Mr. Hallbecker already did this, so my blue parts were the parts we added. Chelsea added 8 layers or 8 slices. Each had 9 cubes, which equals 72 cubes. Stephen added the 4 layers, and each layer had 18. And Mr. Hallbecker showed it top to bottom or bottom to top. But you could have also done the walls. You could have also layered it going back like that. And you would still get 18. So Stephen had 2 different ways he could have done it. All right, on to question number 3. Juliana makes a prism 4 inches across and 4 inches wide. So let me sketch that out. 4 inches across and then 4 inches wide. So this right here is 4 inches, this is 4 inches, but it's only 1 inch tall. And again, this is not to scale. If I drew it to scale, that would be much shorter and longer. It looks something more like this if I drew it more to scale. But again, we're not as worried about your drawings as we are worried about, do you understand it? She then decides to create layers equal to her first one. Fill in the chart below. So this is 1 layer right now. So if it was 4 cubes across, I'll make like really large cubes. They're kind of like rectangular cubes. And it was 4 cubes back. That's 4 by 4. So that would be a total of 16 cubes. This whole shape would be 16 cubes. It would look something like one of our other pictures already. So if one layer equals 16 cubes, and now all of a sudden we're doing 3 layers, that would be 16 plus 16 plus 16, or 3 times 16, because we know there's 16 cubes, 4 across and 4 wide. So 16 times 3, you probably don't have your 16s memorized, which would be 48. And we know that they are inches. So 48 inches cubed. And I figured that out with this, or I could have done length times width times height. Now, if she did 5 layers, all you're doing is taking 5, because it's 5 of those layers, so it's 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16. Or we're taking the 16 and we're timesing it by 5 layers, or 5 slices, or 5 walls, however you want to think of it. And again, you can take your 16 times 5, and that should bring you up to 80 on yours. So 16 times 5 equals 80. And again, they're inches, so it's inches cubed. And then the last one is 7 layers. So if you were to take 7 layers, you would do 7 times 16, which again, you probably do not have your math memorized that way, where you have your 16s memorized. So 16 times 7, which would be 42, carry the 4, 7, 112 inches cubed. So that would be 112 inches cubed. And again, I have 16, and I got the 16 because it's 4 wide, which told me that right here, 4 inches across by 4 inches wide, so 4 by 4, so length times width times height. Height would be the 7 layers, so 7, so 16 times 7, which would equal 112 for that problem. Okay, and then this very last problem, Mr. Hallbecker already did with you. You have your 3 layers, you have 8 in the horizontal for that, because you have 4 across and it's 2 deep, so it's 4 plus 4, which would make 8 on this top layer if you looked at it that way. So if it's 8 plus 8 plus 8, you'd get 24. All right, that's it for the homework lesson.